a fanatical minority can and seem to be able to take over a whole union.
I gave the order for British forces to take part in military action in Iraq.
Than have them grow up under communism and one day die no longer believing in God.
Hello and welcome to Broadcast Interruption, the show where we make fun of political tests, because that's what we're going to be doing today. Not much to preamble about. Don't think so, anyway. No, not really. So actually, alright, I can't explain. But yeah, anyway, hope we're all having a good day. We're just going to get straight into it, because today we're going to be doing some political tests. We're going to be, we're going to be trying out some newer ones. We're going to try out some classic ones. Kind of a fun time. We're going to learn. We're going to get educated, and I'm going to complain a lot. So, no, I just moved the thing. That's gonna show up anyway. So, okay, so let me explain. Right, basically, it was like a week ago. I redid. Have you ever heard of it? LeftValues test. One of these like political tests. Like, oh, you do the test. Oh, what? We'll tell you where you politically stand. And I did that, and basically, just gonna enjoy that car going past. I did that test, and because that's why. Because I redid it because it was revamped apparently, and yeah, it was. They have revamped the LeftValues test. I do believe, since I last encountered it, which is pretty cool, and since I I did I'd say pretty good. I think it was quite a good piece on the political compass test. That piece of cringe. We're going to doing like kind of like a part 2 video. I say we, it's just me really. I'm going to be making a part 2 video on that, basically looking at small political tests and why they are cringe. And as a kind of prelude to that, we're going to be doing them, because I was also inspired because Comic-Con on Twitter, who I've a lot of disagreements with them, but they did a decently good thread. I'll link it in the description if I remember, on the LeftValues test, and I disagree with a lot of their analysis, but it was a decent thread, and inspired this video where we're going to look at a couple tests today. We're going to do them, and you're going to hear my thoughts, and then I will make a video about why I don't like that. Just setting up for disappointment. So let's go over our contestants today. We have the LeftValues test, which is basically, I'll explain them all as we do them, but LeftValues is basically trying to find your position on the left. Like, what is your leftist ideology? Are you an anarchist? You're Marxist? Marxist-Leninist? What are you? Who knows? And it's basically, it's kind of like one of those, kind of like another test that we're doing today, the 8 values test, where they have a number of bars and like how much like a number of axes. I'll explain in a sec. We have Sapply values test, which takes takes the political compass, but tries to make it non-bad. Like, it has the political compass, but instead of having libertarian authoritarian, it says authority and liberty, and has progressive conservative off to the side. This is one of my main complaints with the political compass, how it conflated progressivism and libertarianism and conservatism and authoritarianism. They kind of conflated statism, in quotes. It's either statism, and they conflated that with progressivism, like social values. And this separates them into a compass and a bar. So I think that's a step in the right direction. And we have 8 values, which is a bit more of a classic test. This kind of, it puts across 8 different values, and it's right, where do you land on these bars? And I think it also gives you an ideology at the end, which is pretty neato. So let's start with LeftValues, because this one's quite fresh in my mind. I'll link all these tests in the description. So, oh yes, also I always have a drink. This I'm gonna open it live on air. Well, not live, but you know what I mean. Lovely jubbly. I have been drinking before this, so I can't see how this could go wrong. Can you see how this go wrong? I can't see how this goes wrong. So, yeah, so essentially, there are how the LeftValues test works. Let's actually read the synopsis. What is LeftValues? LeftValues is a leftist quiz inspired and based upon the 8 Values quiz that seeks to identify your position on the left-wing spectrum. If you are not a leftist, this quiz is obviously not suited for you. You'll be presented with a statement, and then you will answer with your opinion on the statement, from strongly agree to strongly disagree, with each answer slightly affecting your scores. The questions for each axis are presented in order rather than scattered. At the end of the quiz, your answers will be compared to the maximum possible for each value, thus giving you a percentage. Answer honestly. There are 72 questions on this test. Oh, pardon me. Now, obviously, like, no one's going to say, like, this is going to be perfect, like, with these values, they're going to, like, perfectly map you onto an ideology, but we're going to see how it goes. So, the bars are revolution versus reform, scientific versus utopian, central versus decentral, international versus national, party versus union, production versus nature, and conservative versus progressive. Oh, fuck my fucking tonsil. No, it's not tonsil, is it? It's the uvula. That's some exception. That was too much information. And basically, there's a number of, so they'll try and, like, match your results and, like, what, like, the percentage you get which is closest to these ideologies. So there's Marxism-Leninism, Orthodox Marxism, Eco-Marxism, Centrist Marxism, Council Communism, Left Communism, Anarcho-Communism, Eco-Anarchism, Market Anarchism, Utopian Socialism, Democratic Socialism, Social Democracy, and Left-Wing Nationalism. Those are the ideologies at play today. What was I thinking about? Fuck, I forgot what I was thinking about. Yeah, so as we go through this, we'll of course we'll discuss, like, the topic of the questions a bit. We'll do that, but the main thing I want to debate is whether they are a good question. All right, whether they're a good question for, because there's a lot of questions I have complaints about. Because so 72 questions. Click here to start. Statements, blah blah blah. Right, number 1. Socialist political parties should participate in liberal democratic elections. How good is this question? Okay, I'm going to put agree. I don't think they have to, but I think generally it's not a bad thing because, it gets the word out there. You might win a few local races. I think it's good to mix tactics of, because that's what we're trying to do with the Breakthrough Party. We're focusing a lot on electoral strategy, but also we're focusing somewhat on extra parliamentary strategy, which I think is the best way to go about things. You want a mix of all of that. Now, it's not a Marxist-Leninist party breakthrough, so we're not gonna be focusing on the revolution part yet. But I definitely want to push it more in that direction. So what was I thinking about? I forgot. So is that a good question? I guess. Yes, I guess that would put you on the reform versus revolution bar, but, like, just because you say they should participate doesn't mean they should only participate. So I guess not too sure about that. Liberal democracy is a viable way of achieving a socialist society. That's a good question. Of course, I'm going to put strongly disagree. Fuck off. But I think that will work. From each according to his ability to each according to his needs is a good principle. I think everyone taking a LeftValues test would probably agree with that. I mean, that seems a bit redundant. It will be important to implement extensive environmental protections as part of achieving socialism. Strongly agree. Obviously, we don't want to all die, preferably. Dying bad, cringe. Socialist organisations are generally better off when organised loosely and decentrally. That's another good question. Generally better off. I'd say strong. Soft disagree. Yeah, soft disagree. Human population growth must be cut. Oh, here we go. This is where the fucking cringe questions start. Here we go. Right. Human population growth must be curbed to prevent an ecological disaster. Malthusianism, everyone. We do a little climate fascism. Just a little climate fascism. Now, obviously, they're not going to say, well, it's not like the question itself is not like reflection on the great, it doesn't imply that. But here's the problem with this, right? So obviously it's Malthusianism, like any decent person should agree with disagree, should strongly fucking, I will strongly disagree, because that is the highest stage of cringe. But here's the problem with that. That's obviously to relate to production versus environment. Like, do you favour like increasing industry, or do you prefer protecting the environment? Because apparently that's another weird thing. Like, there's no way for production to go ahead in an environmentally, say, I guess it's more like growth versus environment would make more sense, because you could definitely have production, but also like do it in like an environmentally effective way, like get some fucking nuclear power plants. But here's the thing, right? That's on that axis. But if you think that human population, because what if you put strongly agree? Does that make you more of an environmentalist? Would that put you more along that bar? Because that's the only way I can see that fitting in. And if that does, that makes no fucking sense, because that's not going to impact the environment. Overproduction is the problem, not overpopulation. If you think human population growth must be curbed to prevent an ecological disaster, you're not an environmentalist, you're just a fucking moron. Because that won't work. It's not a matter of fucking production versus nature, it's the matter of not being a shithead. Right. Okay, next question. So that was a real doozy. What time are we at? Oh, okay, above the 10-minute mark. We got 2 more to go after this. I hope you're excited. I have to split this up. It's going to cause a fucking disaster trying to load this. Okay. Total economic and social equality is realistically possible to achieve. I'd say strongly agree. So I think, and you could essentially get something tantamount to that. The fact that so many workers vote for bourgeois parties over socialist parties is proof that party politics are no longer relevant. I just don't think that's a good reason to say. Like Comic-Con brought this up in their thread. But silly, that's not like a reason like party politics wouldn't be relevant. Because I think like there's relevance to a degree, to a slight degree. Like, you should still vote, but like don't make that your main political course of action. And preferably, I'll recommend don't vote for lesser of two evils. Try and actually vote for progressive candidates as well. So I put slight disagree there. You cannot achieve a socialist society without also making significant social progress. Strongly agree. Intersectionalism, etc. Revolution is the best way of achieving socialist society. Strongly agree. That's a decent question. Redistributing wealth away from the wealthy through taxes is a viable way of defeating inequality. I'm going to put strongly disagree. Yeah, I'll put strongly, obviously. Oh, shite. Yeah, so the problem is, like, that was obviously, we're talking about social, because this is actually relates to this. One, social democracy is a portrayal of left-wing values. Strongly agree, obviously. But, yeah, social democracy is a result you can get on this test, but, like, I don't think social democracy is on the left. Like, I think the left has to actually, like, if you're on the left, that means you're challenging these structures of oppression. You're actually like against, like, the left back in like when the terms were originally like came up, left and right. The left were liberals, rights were in favor of like the monarchy. So like, and now the left is against capitalism, the right is in favor of continuing capitalism. That's kind of like that's one of those political tests. They don't really account for historical materialism, but this is the thing. Social democracy keeps capitalism around, so it can't really be called like a left wing. It could potentially be called like a centrist position. But it's like, no, it's not a left wing position. Oh, fucking bad me. Right. Climate change is a major global threat that all socialists must fiercely combat. Fucking obviously. We're not fucking muppets. People of similar cultures should unite in federations. I don't fucking get what this means. What is it? What does that mean? People of similar cultures should unite in federations or confederations. Are they talking about like the Confederacy of the United States? Are they talking about? They're talking about the what are the US? Are they talking about the Civil War? Because that's bad. But are they talking about like just people of like certain groups getting together? Are they talking about like minorities again? Are they talking about the IRA? Are we talking about the Black Panthers? That's not cringe. That's based. What are you talking about? Question. That could mean a lot of different things. Are we talking about the fucking European Union? Is this the European Union? So we're going to put neutral. Oh yeah, this is the next question. Refresh the screen. Any socialist country should be dedicated to exporting their ideology abroad. Now, this might make me sound like a bit of a trot, but it really shouldn't, because I'm going to put agree, slight agree. I think they should want to do it, and they should do it, but they shouldn't be like the only. They shouldn't have like a one track. Like, they need to focus on making sure their own revolution is, of course, secure. But then they also need to. I think it's very important to, when they can, make sure revolutionary ideas are exported. But they also need to be very, very careful, of course. But in general, it is like international solidarity is very important. I think all the Marxist-Leninist social projects have achieved that to some degree, certainly. A socialist government has no right to disrupt religious or cultural traditions in a situation. I mean, I don't exactly know what they mean. Like that could mean multiple things. I mean, because does it mean like an actual religious, like, obviously a socialist government shouldn't like do apartheid. They shouldn't like try and break up religion, break up people just praying. But like, I mean, if it's like someone like using religion as an excuse to exercise hatred, well, I mean, they should disrupt that. But that's not like in line with the actual faith itself. So it's a confusing question. So I'm going to put neutral. The government should be capable of assigning individuals to workplaces. I strongly agree. Generally, need some sort of jobs guarantee to round off making the planned economy. I think that'd be good. A highly centralised planned economy is not socialism but state capitalism. Get in the fucking bin. Strongly disagree. A socialist revolution is made inevitable by the conditions of capitalism. Oh yeah, strongly. Socialism or barbarism. But I'd put, strongly agree, I guess. Some small-scale destruction of nature is acceptable if it notably benefits humanity. I mean, depends, really. Like, are you just like destroying like one field and you like cure cancer? This is so many degrees. It's so unspecific. What does it mean? I'm gonna put disagree, soft disagree. Trade unions and workers' councils should form the basis of a socialist society. Comey pointed this out. They didn't cover every question, but they covered this one. What if you just want trade unions or workers' councils? Like, one or the other thing. Like, I'm very in favour of the Cuban model where we put trade unions very much at the heart of this. We also do something similar in Vietnam and something like the USSR. I'm not sure about China or for DPRK or like Laos, but I know they certainly this has been very successful, and I think that it's based on, because I strongly agree. The negative consequences of a revolution generally outweigh the advantages. No, strongly disagree. Abortion is an immoral act that should be banned or significantly limited. Strongly disagree, you fucking... Why am I saying fucking? Like, obviously... The test creates brothers and think, well, who am I blaming? Who am I calling I'm just being a dick. Material conditions and needs are the dominant drive behind socio-economic changes. Strongly agree. The global socialist movement should be led by a single party or organisation. How is that practical? Fucking trot hours, this. Clown on clown crime. Strongly disagree. The international proletariat belongs to no country. Strongly agree. Reforming capitalist society to achieve better rights for workers is desirable. See, that's what I'm wondering. Like, yeah, that is obviously fucking desirable. Yes, we're not accelerationist people. That doesn't work. We want better conditions. Yes, thank you. Yeah, not mine. But like, that shouldn't be the end goal. We shouldn't be satisfied with that. Like, we should like use use any concessions we get to just increase the fight back. So like, I'm gonna put trying to achieve better rights for workers is desirable. Yeah, I strongly agree. But I hope they don't put money on the social democracy. How? That means production such as faction farms must be publicly owned. Fucking obviously. I'm a socialist, but I love that private ownership. Jesus Christ. Bureaucracy and inefficiency are always inherent in centrally planned economies. Fucking no. Strongly disagree. The establishment of socialism is a gradual process rather than an instant rapid one. Soft agree, I guess. It's like, it's so vague. So many questions are so vague. What does it mean with... Like, no one thinks they're just gonna, like, snap fingers. Oh, overnight we're socialists now. Like, obviously, there's a level of process. But it doesn't mean we could... Like, doesn't mean we reform capitalism into socialism? No, that's... You can't do that. Okay, a centrally planned economy based around computers is a concept worth investigating, obviously. Strongly agree. Personal motor vehicles such as cars should be replaced with free public transport. Strongly agree. Though, of course, we'll still need cars for the people who do need them. People who can't, like, we'll need to make sure public transport is good enough. And if people do need cars, well, they should be provided. Of course, like some people, like, for example, like they have very intense anxiety and they need to not be crowded on public transport, for instance. But yeah, in general, we need to maximize public transport as much as possible. Up walkable cities, based again, fuck cars. Class conflict is a force that has influenced much of human history. Oh, fucking obviously, we're not wazzocks. We're not stupid. Right. It is possible to peacefully convince the ruling class to conform to a socialist society. What do you think, mate? Strongly disagree. The leadership of political parties in the progression towards socialism will always lead to authoritarianism. You can't... I'm making air quotes. I'm making air quotes with my fucking voice. I realise I swear much more in fucking broadcast interruption than I do in videos. Well, obviously I swear more when it's like off the cuff. But you get what I mean. Apologies if you heard that cough. Only 1 minute. I almost said 22. Oh, fucking yeah. No, I strongly disagree. The oppression of LGBTQ plus people is a major issue that needs to be seriously addressed. Well, I'm one of those. Yeah. Marriage is a patriarchal social construct that should be phased out. I mean, eventually phased out, but like, not really that pressing. Patriarchal. What if it's between women's and so that one for us? I guess, but agree. I'm actually gonna put strongly agree, just because I have this thing going with someone where they managed to get 100% progressive on this test, and I'm trying to figure out how the fuck they did it. Traditional gender roles such as women being homemakers need to be over. We're not stupid. Minority populations should receive special legal protections. Wait, did I put strongly disagree? Oh fuck. Strongly agree. I meant strongly agree for them overcoming those roles. Minority populations should receive special legal protections. Strongly agree. Oh shit! No, go back. I accidentally pressed twice. Trade unionism has been largely corrupted by the ruling class and is no longer a viable structure of a socialist organisation. I mean, it's happened, but I think it's still pretty viable. I mean, just look at the RMT. Look at Unite. I'm in Unite now, actually. That's fucking based. Yeah. Measures to address environmental issues are unacceptable if they result in significant decreases in production and quality of life. Well, of course, I actually want significant decreases in production. That's kind of like, that's not how that works. Question, like, significant decreases in production, kind of like it. I'm actually gonna screen. I should have screen capped the one on Malthusian, and yeah, I'll just do it later. What if I click neutral for all of these? I'm damn curious. I'm going to accept the both thing. So I'm going to put soft disagree. Mass spontaneous actions are more effective than carefully planned actions. No, I guess I'll disagree. I mean, like, most spontaneous actions have a level of planning behind them, though. Okay, an economy is generally better designed when it's organised bottom up rather than top down. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe it's just me being fucking stupid. But I'm going to put neutral. Like, I need to be more specific than that. Like, once again, local planners rather than national planners are more efficient at running a planned economy. Maybe. I will put... are they efficient, though? More efficient. Because obviously you want some planning on a local level to deal with, like, the local issues, so, just put soft disagree. We're democratic ultra-centralists in this house. Foreign officials have no right to dictate policy in another country. Well, fucking obviously. Socialism can only be fully achieved in developed industrialized societies. I strongly disagree. Well, most times it has been fucking achieved. It's not been in the. It's mostly been like partially feudal, like in countries you bottle press. I don't know why I called them a bottle press. In underdeveloped societies, a centrally planned economy is the best way to make rapid progress. Strongly agree. I know we love Hakeem on the channel, but he did a really good video on like how Iraq could become a energy superpower with central planning. Like, basically with like solar panels. And yeah, it's a really good video. Prisons are oppressive and antiquated institutions that need to be abolished. Strongly agree. Read The State and the Revolution, why they need to be abolished, because like, even in like they are partially abolished. When I say partially, they're entirely abolished from their bourgeois form, and they're rebuilt as agents of the proletarian state to suppress the bourgeois. I don't know if the last video was on this. Nationalism and patriotism are impulses that are unacceptable in a socialist society, and I mean, I guess they're not really going to want nationalism, patriotism, because they're different. But this is not unacceptable, because, like as I explained in the last one, patriotism to a socialist society is not really the same as patriotism to like the imperial aggressor. Well, I'll put neutral. I might actually get Marxist-Leninist this time because I put neutral on that. Humanity must return to the primitive ways of the past to overcome long-term climate issues. Fucking imprims. Okay. No. That's not how that works. Ooga. Boog. Open borders between like-minded socialist countries is desirable. Strongly agree. A world socialist republic is a realistic and desirable goal. I mean, I don't want Trotskyism, but like if they each become socialist one at a time and then form a republic, I mean that's fine. Neutral, because they're gonna put like but there's so many meanings. Weird question. Not one of my favourites. Workplace democracy within capitalism is an acceptable alternative to complete socialisation of the economy. This is the catch-out divorce shows, as Comey said. We're going to put strongly fucking disagree. It is acceptable for humanity to suffer to some notable extent to preserve a natural ecosystem. Soft agree, I guess. Like, I mean, it depends, like, what notable suffering means. Oh, I'm fucking getting eco-Marxist again. Revolutionary violence is acceptable as long as the final outcome is positive. Strongly agree. It was cool anyway, didn't even need it. Well, obviously, outcome should be positive. How are we doing for time? Okay, we're almost at the 30-minute mark. Society is chiefly driven by individuals and ideas. I strongly disagree. Policies that enable massive immigration are naive and should not be implemented. Strongly disagree. Industrialised farming practices must be abolished even if it leads to lower outputs. Or some need to be, I guess. So we kind of need lower outputs, so I guess agree. Democratic centralism is an authoritarian organisation. Get in the bin. I'm wise to this now. Capitalism will induce its own demise for contradictions about resulting crisis. Strongly agree. I will be willing to sacrifice economic resources in my home country in order to help other countries. Strongly agree. Religion overall have a mostly positive effect and should remain influential in society. What does that mean? What do you mean by influential? Do you mean like actually have an impact on policy? In that case, no. I'm going to put disagree. The state can be best defined. I mean, that's two questions. The state can be best defined as a monopoly on violence and oppression. I guess kind of. It's more of a class domination. So I'm going to put neutral. I'll put neutral for a lot of things. We're going centrist dark, guys. Centrist dark. Experimental, environmentally friendly food sources like cultured meat are worth investing in. Strongly agree. Oppressed peoples have the right to engage in violent uprising when all of their options have been exhausted. They have the right to engage in violent uprising from the start, mate. I strongly agree. We must radically alter our food consumption in order to limit the... Oh, yes, definitely. We definitely need to change our food consumption because, like, it's just... fucking supply... It's just not sustainable to get, like, seasonal foods all year round, lads. So, swig. Lovely jubbly. National liberation or self-determination for all people is a good concept. Yeah. It is necessary to establish a dictatorship of the proletariat as a transitionary stage between capitalism and socialism. Hey, we did a video on this. I keep saying we, but it's myself. I always refer to myself as we for some reason. We must accept that... 69. Nice. 3 more to go after this. We must accept that the socialist socialist states of the 20th century failed to seriously address environmental issues. Did they? I mean, I guess there were some problems. But, like, it's not a major critique, really. Disagree. Only a mass workers' party can achieve any meaningful long-term goals. Well, kinda not, kinda. Depends how you mean. I guess I'll put soft degree. The principles of workplace democracy and self-management are desirable. Strongly agree. It's foolish to expect renewable energy sources to be able to replace fossil fuels. Not if we use nuclear, mate. Strongly disagree. So, here's my results. So, on the first scale, very revolutionary. About 89.7% revolution. Very scientific. Thank you. Test. 79.7%. Very centralist. 80% centralist. Internationalist. 67.9%. I'm going to get ice picked. Partisan. 63.5%. Ecological. 29.2%. Oh, no. Ecological. 70% nature. So and very progressive. 89.7% progressive. Oh, I didn't break the 90s. No. Alright. Closest match, eco-Marxism. Right, here we go. We're going to start having... These are where the big problems are, fellas. How they define ideologies. So, yeah, eco-Marxist. Yeah, it always puts me as an eco-Marxist. No, I'm a Marxist-Leninist, but this puts me as an eco-Marxist. Now, you might be wondering, why are you an eco-Marxist? Mate. Oh, pardon me. Well, okay, so 85.8%. This was not that far off. Somewhat far off. Marxism-Leninism. Also, I'd just like to point out. 0% utopian socialism. Let's fucking go. Yeah, so this is how this site defines Marxism-Leninism. Marxism-Leninism is a form of Marxism that was forged in the 20th century in the Soviet Union. Marxist-Leninists heavily favour the use of a communist political party. I can't speak today. Use of a communist political party as the platform for both achieving revolution and establishing socialism. Many Marxist-Leninists are somewhat more nationalistic and patriotic than many other Marxists. Citation needed. And may favour industrial progress over environmental goals. Okay, so yeah, first of all, we're basing this on the word may, like maybe. When I spread this information on the internet for fun, I was like, this has nothing to do with that. Where did Marx or Lenin say fuck trees? Where was that written, mate? Where did they say fuck trees? This has nothing to fucking do with it, mate. We're gonna make shit up for fun and games. Also, the Pat stocks are a very fringe margin, mate. They are quite fringe. They've been relegated to Twitter. That's patriotic. Well, I guess if they're in a socialist country, yeah, or like in an imperialized country like Palestine, I apologize for the coughing in the background. But if they're in the fucking imperial core, they're patriotic. They're just a fucking moron. They're just fucking off their blum. I don't know, mate. What? This is my big problem with this test. Can't define Marxism-Leninism. Marxism-Leninism is when you hate trees and are patriots. That's not true, though, is it? I managed to get partisan. The Vanguard Party is that's surely it must be the most important part of the sewing whether you're a Marxist-Leninist. Centralism and the part of the Vanguard. That's not major elements, mate. Also, internationalist. I know I got pretty internationalist, but it's still an internationalist ideology. The Trots aren't the only internationalists. They're just stupid. They just don't understand. They want to build 16 Lego sets at once, mate. I'm not taking their advice on the limit things. It's mate. It's still an internationalist ideology. It still preaches international solidarity. It's just socialism in one country. That doesn't negate working with people internationally. Oh. So yeah, I guess the results are pretty accurate. Once again, I don't know how the concept of nature is in conflict with the concept of production, mate. Like, how do you get 100% progressive on this? I need to find out. It's not going to help me get Marxist-Leninist, because this test doesn't know what Marxist-Leninist is. I mean, I'd like it. I think that'd be cool. I'd like to think I'm 100% progressive. Thank you very much. I don't know who this 10.3% is, but I need to get the fuck out. Now, what the fuck is this 10.3% conservative shit? Hang on, wasn't this the test with the one about drugs on it? I feel like we missed some questions. Oh, I didn't put strongly. I didn't put strongly agree with abolishing marriage. Should have gone full A-row and just fucking killed marriage as a concept. I have another. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. There's a lot of chair creaking today. That was one of probably the better tests, honestly. Oh, 65. Thanks for all the support recently. We're just over a stack of subscribers now. That's great. Fucking actually, good things have been happening with the last two videos. They've been doing pretty nice. I think they're pretty good pair. Oh yeah, also, besides this video, there's also one point I'm planning on doing. Maybe another sequel to the Patstock video, but more on like general tendencies within that movement. And I'm also planning on doing a redux of my old video on the latent theory of value, because it is not up to date, not good generally. So, Sapply values. What is Sapply values? Sapply values is a political compass test that combines the questions of the Sapply test with the UI of 8 values. You will be presented by a statement, and you will answer with your opinion on the statement. Pardon me. From strongly agree to strongly disagree. Also, that's another thing I like about the past test. I presume these next two, I think, you actually answer neutrally, which is a good thing. Because somebody just don't know what the fuck to talk about. You can't do that on the political compass. And for each answer slightly affecting your scores at the end of the quiz, your answers will be displayed on the political compass. A few questions have been reworded, as I feel some of them were poorly written. There are 46 questions on this test. Well, at least it's short. Shuffle or unshuffled? Eeny, meeny, miny, you. We're going unshuffled. Right, and this one's a bit more general, doesn't just mean leftism, so let's have a look-see. Freedom of business is the best practical... I apologize, this fucking chair creaking. Right. Freedom of business is the best practical way a society can prosper. We're putting... strongly disagree. Charity is a better way of helping those in need and social welfare. Strongly disagree. Wages are always... Wages are always fair, as employers best know what a worker's labour is worth. And other fun jokes you can tell yourself. It's his human nature to be greedy, you fucking... Oh, it's determined by material conditions, mate. So far, these are pretty good questions. I will actually, like, determine where you would be. Okay, oh, there's still, like, the conception, of course, the misconception that there is such thing as, like, an authoritarian left or a libertarian right. Like, libertarian right would, like, develop into authority, and authoritarian left would develop into liberty. I mean, we don't actually want a state, guys. We want it to wither away. That's the whole point of this thing. But we'll get to that later. Exploitation is an outdated term, as the struggles of 1800 capitalism don't exist anymore. I strongly disagree, obviously. They're just putting all the ones I hate up front. Communism is an ideal that can never work in practice. Strongly disagree. Taxation of wealthy is a bad idea. Society would be better off without it. Strongly disagree. The harder you work, the more you progress up the social ladder. Strongly disagree. These are some good questions so far. Like, these are actually... Are they encountering quite questions of... I guess it's like kind of... Well, like the last one, definitely. That's putting you on the left. What about communism? If you answer strongly disagree to that. But I think there's definitely a bit of mix so far. Organisations and corporations cannot be trusted and need to be regulated by government. Strongly agree. That's one's not as good, honestly. A government that provides for everyone is an inherently good idea. Strongly agree. So that's better. That would more place you on left to right. The current welfare system should be expanded to further combat inequality. Yeah. course, strongly agree. Land should not be a commodity to be bought and sold. This was on the political compass, I believe, and it's one of the better questions, so yeah, strongly agree. All industry in the bank should be nationalised. Of course, yeah, this is pretty good, actually. Oh, I'm enjoying this. Wow! Class is the primary division of society. Strongly agree. Economic inequality is too high in the world. Strongly agree, obviously. Sometimes it is right that the government may spy on its citizens to combat extremists and terrorists. I mean, I guess it can be. I'll put like a little soft agree. Could depending, like very specific. So it'll have to be an actual government of the people, of course. Nudge, nudge. Authority figures, if morally correct, are a good thing for society. Neutral. I mean, it's good to have. It's not a bad thing for like having societal vulnerability. Generally, I don't think it's necessary. Strength is necessary for any government to succeed. I mean, that's more of a philosophical. I guess that actually does address like authority, liberty. I guess that could work there. Strength is necessary for any government to succeed. Well, I guess, yeah. Okay. I guess needs to have some level of strength, whatever that means. There's an iffy on that one. Only the government can fairly and effectively regulate organisations. Well, the government doesn't necessarily mean the state does. I guess strongly agree. Society requires structure and bureaucracy in order to function. Like, I guess everything has a structure. What does that mean? Everything has structure. Like, even if it's a horizontal structure, that's still a structure, mate. What are you on? That's not the best question. Strongly agree, though. Mandatory IDs should be used to ensure public safety. I'm going to put disagree. In times of crisis, safety becomes more important than civil liberties. I guess I'll put disagree. We know what they're talking about. We're talking about like war and terror stuff, so I'm going to put disagree. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. Strongly disagree. The government should be less involved in the day-to-day life of its citizens. Less involved. No, soft disagree. Without democracy, a society is nothing. I mean, we live in a society. We live in a society, and we don't have a democracy here. Imperial call, so I guess, well, I mean, there's a society, so like, neutral, I don't know what I mean. Jury nullification should be legal. Oh, sorry, felt like you can't serve on the jury now, you've heard about this. Oh, no, I mean, actually, you don't know what jury nullification is, do you? Pretend I didn't say anything. Well, I don't really see how that enters into anything. That's a bit obscure. It's like the abstract art question of this test, if you know what I mean. Small the government, the free the people. Another fun joke, so you can tell yourself, strongly disagree. The government should, at most, provide emergency services and law enforcement. Strongly disagree. The police were not created to protect the people, but to uphold the status quo by force, obviously. Yeah. State schools are a bad idea because our state shouldn't be influencing our children. I'm just going to strongly disagree for that one. Two consenting individuals should be able to do whatever they want with each other, even if it makes them uncomfortable. Strongly agree. An individual's body is their own property, and they should be able to do anything they desire to it. Strongly agree. It's like not stabbing. Don't stab your bodies, people. A person should be able to worship whomever and whatever they want. I guess strongly agree. Nudism is perfectly natural. I guess it is. I mean, Lenin was a fan. We've got to put agree. Animals deserve. Yeah, he was actually. He did a. I think he saw like a news column. He was like, "Oh, base." Not calling like a news speech or something. Animals deserve certain universal rights. Obviously, yeah. Aminals, strongly agree. Gender is a social construct, not a natural state of affairs. Strongly agree. Gender did not spawn in nature. This chair is so fucking creaky today. Laws based on cultural values rather than ethical ones aren't justice. I'm gonna say strongly agree. Autonomy of body extends even to minors, the mentally ill, and serious criminals. Don't know what my dog's doing. I guess I'm gonna put. It applies to everyone. Autonomy. I'm not sure what it's trying to get at. I'm gonna go back quickly and strongly agree, I guess. Right. Homosexuality is against my values. Strongly disagree. No. Transgender individuals should not be able to adopt children. Strongly disagree. Drugs are harmful and should be banned. Oh, that went really well in the 20s. Oh, how's prohibition working out for you? Oh, right. Strongly disagree. The death penalty should exist for certain crimes. Well, I mean, depends for being a landlord, maybe. But I'm gonna put depends on multiple factors. Not really the biggest fan. I'm gonna put neutral. Victimless crimes should still be punished. For victimless, why are they a crime then? What crime would they commit? Like graffiti? No, what's wrong with that? Good thing strongly disagree. I don't even believe in prisons, making. This ain't gonna wake. One cannot be moral without religion. One cannot be moral without religion. I strongly disagree. Parents should hold absolute power over their children. No. Multiculturalism is bad. Strongly disagree. Oh, that was quick. Did you miss this? Yes, but get me to the results, please. This has only taken like 10 minutes. This is what this little diversion is, and the other one's like donkeys. Oh. Copy. I think I actually got basically the top of the progressive bar. Hey, let's go. Oh, sorry about the keys. Can I like make a? I might try it with this one actually. I've got to figure out if you can actually loop videos because like editors. That's irrelevant to this point, but yeah. So I got this doesn't tell you what ideology you got. So I guess I think that was a pretty good test actually. I think that was decent. Of course, the dichotomy is wrong. So I got basically like 3 squares above like the x-axis into like authoritarian left, but like I'm right on the edge of left, right on like the razor edge, far, the farthest left you can get, probably the furthest progressive you can. I guess that bar can go all the way to the top. I'm pretty chuffed with that. The power of nudism. Yeah, I think that's a pretty decent test. Now, obviously, the political compass, like, it's a false dichotomy. I explained this in my video on the political compass. You should go and watch that. But I think that's decent. I think that's. It doesn't explain much about the answers down below, as like with the other ones. But I mean, considering how much fucking LeftValues cock that up, I mean, that's not. This is actually a decent test, alright? Sapply values, there's a false dichotomy, but there is, otherwise, it's, at least they're separate, axes. It's no historical materialism, but it's alright. It's not as bad as the other one. Not as bad. Not as bad as the original political compass, I mean. LeftValues is alright, there's quite a few problems there. Yeah. Alright, 8 values. We're going real old school. I didn't read the... Wait, go back. What is 8 values? 8 values is, in essence, a political quiz. We're going to take a quick swig. In essence, a political quiz that attempts to assign percentages for 8 different political values. You'll be presented by a statement. Right, that... Interesting structure. And then you will answer with your opinion on that statement, from strongly agree to strongly disagree. With each answer slightly affecting your scores. At the end of the quiz, your answers will be compared to the maximum possible for each value, thus giving you a percentage. And so honestly, there are 70 questions. This I am not quite a fan of these axes. So, what you'd assume would be like, there's a really weird top axis. The economic axis is put between equality and markets, not planning and markets, equality and markets. It's between, if you prefer, progressive tax code social programs that high value socialism, and markets just basically like high pace. So weird, mate. It's just like one big bar of liberalism and maybe socialism at the end, and maybe goddamn laissez-faire capitalism at the other end, mate. Yeah, bars make any sense. Doesn't mean to favour equality, but you don't want. Why would? Like, surely the axes should meet. You should want like it be between, I guess, markets and planned if you're gonna have that dichotomy. Because of course, socialism doesn't just refer to the economy technically. It's like political and social stuff, but like, oh my goodness, Squidward. Nation versus globe. That's pretty standard. Liberty or authority. Tradition versus progress. And again, we're gonna. I think that's not as good as like conservatism versus progress. Like tradition could have like a bit of a wider meaning. Got it. Right. Oppression by corporations is more of a concern than oppression by governments. Right out the fucking gate. A stupid question. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Are you excited? These things don't exist in a fucking bubble, mate. We're screen capping these ones. Alright, because actually I thought this will save me donkeys, right? It'll save me donkeys. So we're going to screen cap these, and I'm going to save them, right? Because I'm going to go... How am I meant to answer that? I guess soft degree, because, like, I guess the corporation control of it. Which governments do you mean? What? They don't exist in a bubble, mate. The liberal governments and the corporations are on the same team. They're batting for the same... This is like such a liberal dichotomy. You think, well, it's small state, big state, or the state, or the corporations, mate. You've got to pick one. That's not how it works. The bourgeois state and the corporate... Like, a social democratic, like, Norway, like Norway, Denmark state is not against corporations in those countries. They're still on the same side. They just have some concessions funded off fucking murdering people in the fucking periphery. Alright, let's see this one. It is necessary for the government to intervene to protect intervene in the economy to protect consumers. Strongly agree. Strongly agree. The free the markets to free the people. Strongly disagree. I mean, you see that one everywhere. I think that's been on the regular political compass as well. It's better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure welfare for all citizens. Strongly disagree. That's not it's not diametrically opposed. You can have a balanced budget and provide for everyone. Obviously, providing for everyone is more important, but like, just nationalise the businesses, get the revenue from the state. You spend it. Oh, this hurts my brain. It hurts my brain with its lack of imagination. People have never heard of a progressive, goddamn heavily progressive income tax. Oh, any tax, nationalised businesses getting revenues from that? Barely even Noah. Alright, here we go. Publicly funded research is more beneficial to the people than leaving it to the market. That's it's alright, strongly agree. Tariffs on international trade are important to encourage local production. Not too fussed. Neutral. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. Strongly agree. It would be best if social programs were abolished in favour of private charity. Strongly disagree. Taxes should be increased on the rich to provide for the poor. I guess strongly agree. Inheritance is a legitimate form of wealth. Strongly disagree. Basic utilities like roads and electricity should be publicly owned. Strongly agree. Government intervention is a threat to the economy. Strongly disagree. Those with a greater ability to pay should receive better healthcare. Strongly disagree. Quality education is a right of all people. Strongly agree. The means of production should belong to the workers who use them. These are some more questions. The United Nations need to be abolished. We're back at the fucking dumb questions. What does that mean? I actually don't know much about the workings of the UN, but like, I guess this would be on the international axis. Like, there's nothing about like, oh, what if I want to replace the United Nations, for instance? What if I wanted like a better international organisation? between socialist... Neutral. Military action by our nation is not often necessary to protect it. Strongly disagree. I support regional unions such as the European Union. Oh, fuck. This is so... Oh, God. Okay, support regional unions, but if... Like, I mean, it depends. Like, I like the fucking USA. I like the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, but I don't like the European Union, mate. I don't like any fucking liberalism. That's a fucking I don't like killing 40,000 people in the European border. That's a bit bad, isn't it? Like, do you mean specifically made up, or is that just an example? We're putting neutral because like, it is important to maintain our national sovereignty. Neutral. What does that mean? Like, I know what it means, kind of like, I guess, like, parliamentary sovereignty. That's like, I was the big talking point about Brexit, but like, that's another thing about this test. They're all very, like, 2016 pilled. Like, very late 2010s. Base politics. Very westernized, I suppose. A united world government would be beneficial to mankind. World government would be beneficial to mankind. I guess, off the agree. It would depend on the government, you fucking It's more important to retain peaceful relations than to further our strength. Yeah, I strongly agree. Wars do not need to be justified to other countries. Whoa! I'm going to disagree with that one, Chief. Military spending is a waste of money. Well, it depends, but, like, I guess... Soft agree. Like, a country that's actively being killed by an imperial aggressor is not a waste of money to spend on the military, but, like the US is clearly wasting money on the military. International aid is a waste of money, and I strongly disagree. My nation is great, strongly disagree. Mate, you've been to Britain. Research should be conducted on an international scale. I strongly agree. If that's like part of the research, I guess it will depend on the research, mate. Government should be accountable to the international community. Yes. Even when protesting an authoritarian government, violence is not acceptable. No, strongly disagree. Listen, mate, you gotta break a couple of windows to make an omelette. Making the mother of all omelettes here, 8 values test, can't threat over every fucking window, right? Do the rest of this test as Senator Armstrong. Listen, Jack, I can't do his voice. Or just sound like more evil Joe Biden. My religious values should be spread as much as possible, but I don't have those. I'm guessing I'm going to strongly disagree. My nation's values should be spread. Oh, fuck no. As my nation's values should be spread as much as possible. Obviously not. It is very important to maintain law and order. I'm alright, thanks. Strongly disagree. The general populace makes poor decisions. Neutral. It's such a weird question. What does that mean? What has that got to do with anything? Physician-assisted suicide should be legal. I think so. Yeah, I soft agree. Sacrifices some civil liberties is necessary to protect us from acts of terrorism. Not in the West, no. Government surveillance is necessary in the modern world. So it's necessary. The very existence of the state is a threat to our liberty. It's technically true. But neutral, because I fear that the idea of a temporary proletarian state that withers away into statelessness, because the state is ultimately not a good thing, is too complicated for this sham. Right, regardless of political opinions, it is important to side with your own country. Well, you know what I feel? No. All authority should be questioned, strongly agree. A hierarchical state is best. What do you mean by a non-hierarchical state? Oh, God. Oh, dear me. I keep forgetting to note some of these down. Oh, it's so liberal-pilled. What is goddamn... What time are we at? 24 minutes. I'm not doing too bad. Non-hierarchical state. The state exists to... It's an article of class domination, mate. Neutral, because you are talking about a concept that does not really exist, kind of, I guess. Oh, fuck you. It is important that the government follows the majority opinion, even if it is wrong. Well, not if it's wrong. Not if it's wrong. Who is the one telling the majority opinion, mate? Who is the one informing the public? This is a strange dichotomy that doesn't exist, but I guess I'm going to have to go disagree. Strong leadership, the better. I guess I don't want bad leadership, or I guess agree. Democracy is more than a decision-making process. I guess strongly agree. Environmental regulations are essential. Oh, fuck, I just spammed them there. Okay, a better world will come from all major science and technology. Strongly agree. Children should be educated in religious or traditional values. Well, no, I don't... Well, they shouldn't be taught to have them, but they should be taught about them. So I'm going to put neutral. Traditions are of no value on their own. I guess agree. Religion should play a role in government. No, thank you. Church should be taxed the same way other institutions are taxed. Strongly agree. Climate change is currently one of the greatest threats to our way of life. Strongly agree. It's important that we work as a united world to combat climate change. Strongly agree. Society was better many years ago than it is now. No. No, I don't think so. It's important that we maintain the traditions of our past. Depends on the tradition. Depends on the... What? It's so vague. So vague, mate. Depends on the tradition. It's value neutral, mate. What's the tradition? What's the tradition, mate? What are we? We should just keep something around just because it's... Neutral, I guess. It is important that I've answered so many of these neutral because I don't understand what they're talking about. It is important that we think in the long term beyond our lifespans. Yeah, strongly agree. Reason is more important than maintaining our culture. Yeah, strongly agree. Drugs should be legalised or decriminalised. Strongly agree. Same-sex marriage should be legal. Strongly agree. Let's make sure the mic doesn't turn off. It's like 24 minutes going on this. 27 going now. No cultures are superior to others. Strongly agree. Sex outside marriage is immoral. Strongly disagree. If we accept migrants at all, it is important they assimilate into our culture. Strongly disagree. Abortion should be prohibited in most or all cases. Strongly disagree. Gun ownership should be prohibited for those without a valid reason. I mean, I guess, like, if any gun legislator, what is a valid reason? What do you determine as a valid reason? Could you give an example? No, well, actually, don't give an example, because the last time you did that, you were like, regional unions, such as the European Union, and we will have to decide what that means. So I guess we're putting neutral again. We're going to save that as another one of the daft questions. This is going quicker than I expected. Neutral. I support single-payer universal healthcare, obviously. Prostitution should be illegal. I'm not really the right person to ask on this, am I? Aren't I? No investigation, no right to speak. It's complicated. I mean, if someone wanted to do it, like, obviously, but like, it's really... Obviously, I don't mean any attacks on sex workers by that, but I mean... most are in it because of economic circumstances, but if we like resolve all the economic circumstances, and they still wanted to do it, like if we made it so they could like freely choose to do it, and they owned the work, for instance, we should allow people to do what they want to do, of course, but it's a complicated question. Complicated. Because obviously the progressive answer is going to be, we're going to consider all the different factors, right? Like I'd probably ask like an actual sex worker what they'd think. So maintaining family values is essential. Well, what does that mean? Of course, but strong disagree. The chase of progress at all costs is dangerous. What do you mean by progress? What does... Am I being too harsh? Am I being too harsh? I'm not sure, actually. Is this like fucking... Are we worried about making dinosaurs? Is this like a Jurassic Park thing? Are we like... Before we even knew what we had, you were patented it, packaged it, and now you put it on a lunchbox and you're selling it. You're selling it. Is this like that type of thing? That was a really weak slap on the table, I'm sorry. The chase progress at all costs is dangerous. I don't know. Genetic modifications are forced for good, even on humans. I don't know. No, some of this seems pretty eugenic-y, mate. Some of it seems a bit eugenic-y, some of it. I mean, after that born, mate, we're gonna have to... Wait a minute! What does it mean by genetic modification? Because we've already... That's self-farming. Even on human... Okay, I guess we're putting neutral then. Because even on humans, this all means very different things. We should open our borders to immigration. Strongly agree. Government should be concerned about foreigners as they are about their own citizens. Strongly agree. All people, regardless of factors like culture or sexuality, should be treated equally. Yeah, strongly agree. It's important that we further my group's goals above all others. What do you mean, my group? Do you mean like an ideological group? Like a racial group? Do you mean like a sexual orientational group? Do you mean like a national group? What does that mean? It's like a musical. My emotions have gotten so high reading things that I've burst into song, darling. I'm singing now because this is fucking a bit silly. Right, don't just press back. Agree and neutral. Okay, so, folks, let's have a look-see. What did we get? The colours are much brighter than I expected. 93.6% equality. I got communist. What is the 6.4% that were in favour of markets, mate? I'm guessing it was the one about corporations, but that doesn't make sense. That question didn't make sense. Because corporations and governments are on the same team, mate. Yeah, communist. Base. Internationalist. 83.3% internationalist, that's right. 77% libertarian. That's right. And 88% very regressive. Is that more or less than the last one? Oh, fuck, it's less. Shit. Alright, libertarian communism. Oh, fuck off. This don't understand the difference between states. Oh dear. Oh my days. Oh my days. Libertarian communism. Not anarchist communism, but just a libertarian communism. Okay, that exists. That's a real tendency. I've heard of libertarian socialism, and that barely exists. Libertarian communism, like, what is that? So the example I did in the authoritarian communist sense. Just communist, mate. I'm just a communist. It's like, as far as communism goes, there's no qualifier, it's just communist. I think there's even not a Marxist in this one, to be fair. Yeah, so that was a bit shit. I should be shouting this as loud as I am. That was worse can happen. Yeah, so, honestly, I think the Sapply values is the best. I think LeftValues has a lot of problems, but I think it's, like, more interesting because of, like, the very writing question. And, I think 8values is, a bit trash, because this is one that was hyped up as better than the Political Compass because it has these bars. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a bit better than that, mate. But, like, I think it's better than the Political Compass. I think you could answer in a way where you would get progressed, like something on the equality, and you wouldn't get communist if you didn't answer to all, like, the... No, wait, hold on. Well, I said communism was a good idea, yes, but, like, that's, like, one question, so if I went, like, back that one, I could technically put because should all living nationalism Sapply values? So I could technically put like everything else that was related to that like ticks up, and I could get social democrat. I could like be completely social democratic, and I could get basically communist, according to this. That's the problem. So communism's a valueless stateless class of society. It's not just when more socialism, because like the more socialist it is, it's like there's a dialectical relation between these things. And internationalist, I guess that's fair. Libertarian, I wouldn't class myself as a libertarian though, because I am a communist. I believe eventually in there not being a state, mate. I believe in a, but they're too complicated for this. It doesn't. It's the same with the political compass. They actually, I don't really understand on Sapply, but at least there's like an option for that. Like this is still very much the worst one. 8 values really doesn't deserve as much of the hype it gets. Sapply is. Sapply's good. Sapply's good-ish. It's still flawed by like using the compass model, but I think honestly just ditch to think about like a authoritarian libertarian. Really, keep like the economics and progressive bit, and I guess the qualified economic. I mean, I think it could work potentially. But no, values is bad. LeftValues has it's honestly decent in a lot of areas. There's like a few bad questions, like a few very nonsensical questions, and the way it diagnoses things is not sensible. Like Marxism-Leninism is not when you hate trees. But overall, it's not the worst. Not the worst at all. I think all of these are probably better than the political compass test. But that's not saying much. I think people way overhype how better 8 values is than the political compass test. I think it's only better by degrees. It's like picking between, like, pick your fucking poison there. Sapply values, I think that's probably the best one so far. It's like it's like the most general. I think that's what I think honestly, like LeftValues, like there's a lot of really hard hitting questions that would place someone solidly on the left. Again, it's not very accounting for anarchists, because I guess probably wouldn't want all the industry to be nationalised. I'd want it to be like organised on the principle of free agreement. But honestly, I think better than I expected. Sadly. Honestly, so yeah. Ranking, I'd put number 1 Sapply, number 2 LeftValues, number 3 8 values, number 4 of course the political compass test. It's still the worst. It's so bad. I mean, the axes thing with 8 values, it's barely an improvement. Like, we need to just ditch like the words libertarian and authoritarian. They've been a fucking disease for discourse. They're killing it in the cradle, mate. We need to get rid of those. So yeah, we've informed ourselves today about these tests, and we're going to be taking this information. Well, I say we, I mean me. And I'll be making a video on the political tests again, and then so yeah, we're doing a lot of follow-up videos I have planned. I'm not sure. I have so many video ideas going back and forth in my head, so we'll see what comes. I might do another poll. Actually, I might do that, actually. And remind the person I'm not speaking to, because this is a recording. Right. So, I think we've covered everything today. Lovely, jubbly. Yeah, I'm gonna have forgotten something. So yeah, political tests in general, some better than I expected, some far, far worse than I expected. None as good as good old historical materialism. Read books. Yeah. This has been Broadcast Interruption, and remember, Labour conquers all.